I was relieved at the thought of finally getting cleaned up. My dried blood was beginning to smell, and I must have looked fearsome with the red stains on my golden scales. But I wondered why the mages weren't afraid of me. Perhaps they knew that any creature capable of wearing armor must possess some form of intelligence. As they guided me to a white temple, the once frightened villagers seemed at ease, pointing and gawking in my direction. The guards showed relaxed expressions, which I found amusing. If I could smirk with my adorable snout, I would have, as the attention I was receiving made the previous farming village gathering seem small in comparison. Hundreds of eyes were fixed on me, but all I could think about was finding my kin on other continents. We arrived at the Mage Tower, a typical structure with pillars holding up the roof and no carpets. The oldest mage turned around, spreading his arms wide, and exclaimed, "Welcome to the Mage Tower. Philip is our water mage, as his blue robe indicates. He will take you to our baths and ensure that all your needs are met." Philip the water mage looked somewhat embarrassed before nodding. "Follow me," he said, gesturing towards a hallway on the left. There are wooden doors that lead to a massive pool of water. It's steaming, obviously just heated up or might be constantly provided heat with some type of magic. As we walked towards the pool, I couldn't help but think about how much I stank. "I can't wait to wash this smell off," I said, eager to jump into the water. Once we arrived, Philip stepped out of the doorway to let me through. Without hesitation, I walked right in, feeling the warm water on my scales. "Ah, this feels great," I said, noticing Precious enjoying the water too. Turning around, I could see Philip looking bewildered as I was laying body deep in the warm water. That's when it dawned on me that he must have expected me to take off my armor. "Oops, sorry," I said sheepishly. I must have looked bizarre bathing in full armor. Philip shook out his stupor and began to take out his wand, channeling the water off my body into a ball right in front of me. "Magic is very interesting," I commented. "I can't wait to learn how to perform them as well. Maybe I should ask that white mage if I could take some lessons from them while I am here." Feeling nice and dry, I waited for Philip to show me my next destination. After he put his wand back into his robe, he gestured for me to follow him towards the northern part of the Mage Tower. We came into what looked like a dining room with a long table and an assortment of fruits on it in baskets. As Philip pulled out a chair for me to sit at, I couldn't help but laugh. "Are you serious? I'm barely 3 feet tall, and sitting down is impossible with my not-so-dexterous tail." The only female mage of the group, who was wearing a green robe, walked out from the kitchen area in the back carrying a tray with a lot of cooked meat on it. She started to laugh when she saw me, almost dropping everything. I got down to the floor on all fours, feeling embarrassed. Philip tried his best to hold back his laughter, but I had the greatest urge to bite something off of him. I refrained from doing so, knowing the rule of not biting the hand that feeds you. Once the green mage stopped laughing, she set the tray of food down in front of me. I devoured the food like there was no tomorrow, feeling full afterwards. Feeling thirsty, I looked at the only other mage in the room with an expectant gaze. He stiffened like he was getting ready to run, but Precious helped the poor fellow out by politely asking, "Could we have some water, please?" The look of relief washed over his panicked face, and he went over to the table and grabbed a bowl before filling it with water using his mana. As soon as he placed it down in front of me, I took deep gulps of it, draining it dry in a blink of an eye. It had no flavor yet was very filling. That's when the white mage came in holding what looked like a map. "Good timing," I said, feeling curious about our surroundings. The white mage walked up to me and crouched down to show me the map he was holding. It was absolutely massive when he unrolled it on the floor. He pointed at a green splotch on the map and said, "This is where we are. This city is called Crestview, and we are in the Empire of Kafkaist." I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the sheer size of the empire. "Goodness gracious, this is huge," I muttered, tracing my claw over the tiny splotches that represented neighboring kingdoms. I had no idea there were so many. Travis chuckled. "Yes, the Kafkaist Empire is quite expansive. But remember, our goal is not to learn about the surrounding lands, but to find other dragons like yourself." "Right," I nodded, feeling a little foolish for getting sidetracked. "Do you have any leads?" Travis shook his head. "I'm afraid not. Dragons are only known in legends, and we haven't seen any. There are wild drakes and wyverns, but they're not true dragons like you." I sighed, feeling a sense of disappointment wash over me. But I didn't want to give up hope just yet. "Well, I'm sure we'll find them eventually. We have plenty of time to search." I spent a couple days learning magic from Travis, and to his utter surprise I mastered everything in moments. Travis smiled, seeming pleased by Onyx's talent. "You're a natural at magic." I beamed with pride. "Thanks. I have a feeling there's more to my magic than what I've learned here, though." Travis raised an eyebrow. "Oh. What do you mean?" I shrugged. "I don't know, I just have this feeling. Maybe it's because I'm a dragon and we're known for our magic." Travis nodded thoughtfully. "That's a possibility. Well, in any case, I have something for you before you go." He reached into his robes and pulled out a mage cloak, adorned with a medallion that glinted in the light. "This signifies that you're officially a mage now. Wear it with pride, young dragonling." I took the cloak from Travis and draped it over my shoulders. "Thank you." I knew that this cloak was a symbol of my new status, and I would wear it with pride. I adjusted my new mage cloak, the deep black fabric adorned with shimmering silver stars, as I embarked on my next thrilling adventure. The cloak exuded an aura of power and mystery, enveloping me in its embrace. With a determined stride, I set my sights on a nameless village to the north, an uncharted destination that promised both excitement and danger. As I ventured forth, the path before me transformed